We're in the home stretch of the Olympics, and so far, Team USA has been dominant in basketball. Both the men's and women's team have won all their games so far. But will they win gold? We're going to talk about that and more today on the podcast.
Point. Forward.
I'm here with recent NBA champion and a guy who has not one but three current teammates on Team USA, and Jason Tatum, Derek White, and Drew Holiday. Today, I'd like to welcome the one and only Payton Pritchard. Payton, what's up, bruh?
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me.
No doubt, man. Thanks for coming back on, Pause. It's always great to have a good conversation with you. But, the last time you were in the midst of a championship hunt, and now that's completed. So tell us what it's been like since, winner banner, was it number 18?
Yeah, banner 18. It was crazy at first, like the first month out. It's just like a hectic time. But it's like experiences that you'll always remember, especially being around the city of Boston. Like anywhere you walk, the treatment people give you, being like a champion it's definitely an unbelievable experience. So, but once we get a taste for that first success and championship, you want to experience it again for sure.
Yeah, speaking of experience, what was your most memorable experience throughout that run? You guys played versus some great teams, even though people try to criticize them. Mm-hmm. But what was the high points and what was some of the low, more tougher points going through that run? Because you guys had arguably one of the best teams of all time in your win percentage and what you've done, and almost made it seem like a cakewalk. But was there any struggles?
I could give you struggles for the team and personally too, if you want both sides.
Yeah.
I think it's the struggles came into mentally staying engaged and keeping that hunger throughout it at all, never losing it. And I know we lost some games versus Miami and Cleveland. We lost game 2 twice.
Yeah.
But the media ripped us for it. But at the end of the day, them teams just shot the ball really well. So it wasn't like we weren't hitting a valley at all. We kind of they played great, whatever, move on to the next. We took care of business. So in that aspect, we didn't really hit too many lows as far as the losing games. I think personally, it gets hard sometimes because you want to play so well, and there's certain games in the playoffs where you don't play as much, or let's say you get a couple shots and you don't make them, or stuff like that, and you don't leave your impact. That can be, mentally challenging. So I feel like as a player going through the playoffs, it's just about staying here through it all, and just not trying to battle those highs and lows, because as you know, in the playoffs, those are crazy. Big wins, you're up here. Bad losses, you're all the way down here.
Yeah, for sure. But what did you learn from the difference of this season and last season? Because you guys both had successful seasons where, last year it kind of, came to an end abruptly. But, this year you're able, to get over the hurdle but finish your breakfast. What was the conversation like that throughout the whole year? And were guys just we're good enough, let's just lock in and make the most of it? Because even with little things that occurred with KP being injured, and certain guys being out, in and out, up and down, how are you all able to stay in and believe you can, do it?
Well, I have to give credit to Joe. He did a tremendous job this year, and I feel like this year he was fully himself. He was fully comfortable with taking that role. And I'm not saying he wasn't the year before, but when you get thrown into a situation like that, you kind of have to keep things going the same way they were going, and he didn't really get to put his own twist on things.
Yeah.
I feel like this year he really got to run the offense and play to his style that he saw was the most efficient for us, and I thought that he did a good job. And then I think having somebody like Drew Holiday come in with his his presence and his leadership and just having him around just made a huge difference. He just has a championship aura to him. He just is a winner.
Yeah, he's a good dude for sure. And you know, you speak of Drew, you speak of Derek White, you speak of Jason Tatum, three guys that you won a championship with, but right now they're competing, you know, for Olympic gold medal. Have you been watching any of the games?
Yeah, I've watched them from here and there, checked in, seen how each of them are doing. So
Yeah,
definitely a great experience for them to all three be playing together to win a gold. So
yeah. What'd you think when Tatum didn't play the first game? Were you as shocked as I was?
I mean, definitely because we all know how talented he is. But
Yeah,
I actually wanted to text him, but just because I've been in situations like that, and I'm not saying it's at all like to his level, but like it's a humbling experience.
yeah,
And so for me, I'm excited to see like what he does with that. You know what I mean? That just
yeah,
adds more fuel to the fire. Like he can walk away from that and like now he's got something more to prove. And
yeah.
so I feel like I'm looking forward to next year and seeing him take that and like let's go get another one now and like let's keep this going because now you got to show people again because they doubt in certain things. So I'm looking forward to JT to prove them wrong.
That's real. And you were out there for Team USA. You were part of select team, correct?
Yep.
And what was that experience like? That was a big time deal to go out there, be selected, and compete. What did you take from that? I know you take all those experiences very, very seriously. What was that atmosphere like? Being in the gym with the modern day greats, but at the same time having to compete.
Well, I mean, I once I got the offer to come down, I accepted that right away. I got it during the right before the finals started. Um, so you definitely wanted to take that, and for me to play against them, obviously is great, but like to see how they go about their routines, what time are they waking up from afar, just analyzing all that. That's the thing I was looking most forward to. Is just maybe being able to take a couple things that they did for, as far as what they did for their body, how they were doing treatment, when were they lifting, like all those things. So just to see what makes them that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see any correlation with? I guess it's something similar. You're on a super team where a lot of guys have to sacrifice. You know what I mean? Did you see any type of way of how great players were able to sacrifice and from a distance? It looks like Team USA is like this. So was there anything like that that was kind of similar to a Boston Celtics locker room?
I mean, definitely, just because when you have so much talent, like not everybody's gonna score 30 and 20s, so it's like people got to sacrifice, and you got to be able to do the little things, the rebound, and everybody's got to fill those roles. So,
Yeah,
and I feel like they did a good job of that. When I was playing against them down there, like the one thing is like nobody was being like they were almost being too unselfish. Everybody's trying to share the rock, and so. Uh, I think they're figuring it out now. Obviously, what's the right way to play with each other and stuff like that.
well, the other day there was some hypothetics. They were talking about how great Team USA was and how loaded that was. Pause. But they were saying if you could clone Jason, Derek, and Drew Holiday, do you think they believe the Boston Celtics will have a really good chance of winning an Olympic gold medal? Where do you think that would place? Do you think you guys could really face the world, go up against Serbia, France, the Canadas, right now
As
Brazil?
like the Celtics and
As the Celtics, like the Celtics enter the Olympic tournament, do you think this year's Celtic team will
yeah,
have a decent chance of winning an NBA title if you're able to,
I would
play?
bet my money on it that we will, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a done deal for sure because you got to go out and compete. But I bet my money that we win. So I feel like you win an NBA championship, like
Yeah.
go through a whole season like that, know how to play together, like yeah, we'll be all right.
Well, yeah, no, I kind of, I wasn't mad at the hypothetical neither. I was like, man, I could kind of see that happening because you guys have such a loaded team, and I always use you as an example of being like, yo, Payton Pritchard is like their third point guard. Like, you know how good Payton Pritchard is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for
So
sure. I was actually talking to my dad about that. I'm like, man, like if I look at the two people that I'm playing behind, like it's a thing like they're on the Olympic team, so at least I can like I'm not
yeah,
playing behind like people nobody knows. Like my two people that I'm learning from
yeah.
and playing behind are the two Olympians. So if there's people to play behind, it's those guys.
No, you're learning a lot. I think one thing that occurs when you talk about two Olympians and how spread out that field is to try to make the team in a certain sense. sometimes it's somewhat oversaturated. I know as a former player, I'm like, yo, Brown existed, KD existed, all these great players existed. My chance to be an Olympian is done. Have you ever thought about like crossing over and being like, fuck it, like if I don't make it 5-on-5, I'll do the 3-on-3? Because a lot of people have been complaining about like we haven't even sent our best there. You know what I'm saying? And how
They
serious
actually
that is.
they talked to me about it this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just I just wasn't ready to commit, and like I had
Yeah.
my wedding here this weekend, so it's like it was just too hard to like pull the
Yeah.
trigger on that. I
Yeah.
think I would entertain it. I think I would try to always like play for the 5-on-5 first,
Yeah,
But
of course.
obviously, like I'm not tripping if I don't make it, but it's a goal to make that. That'd be an honor if I ever had the chance. But like 3-on-3, I wouldn't write it off. I think that would be fun. It's a
Yeah.
different type of game. I don't think it's nowhere near like regular basketball how they play. Because I played it in high school one time, and I was on the team with PJ Washington and Zach
Uh,
Collins. So it's not like we
oh,
were.
wow. Okay.
And we didn't even medal.
We been metal. Damn,
It's
that's crazy.
different because you get it
Yeah.
out the net, you throw it right to the 3-point line. It's like you ever played like 3-on-3 like continuous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to play
Where-
one-on-one continuous. Just
Yeah, where you
easy
just
game.
get out the net and go. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's an adjustment, and I don't know, but I think I would entertain it. I think I'd be good at it.
Yeah, because I think one thing that occurs that people forget, you're building up a little reputation for some of your summer runs. You know what I mean? I think at one point, a couple years ago, you threw up 90 in the summertime versus the all-time leading scorer, Mike James, who
Yeah.
recently tweeted that he would love to play for the 3-on-3. And I was wondering, what was that game like? Because you hear so much Mike James is like an underground legend, so many people hype him up, but I always try to talk about the correlation between like a great overseas guy and like somebody that might not play in the NBA. You know what I mean? And not saying I was there, but like to be on a court with him, you throw up 91.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, Mike is
Yeah,
he is the real deal, and like
yeah,
I think I think a lot of the top dudes in the Euro League are NBA level talent.
yeah,
Now it's I think it comes a problem of like what role like can you? It's a more ability to like can you play a certain role those NBA teams need.
yeah.
You
Like
know?
a Tremont Waters. Like
Yeah,
Tremont was unbelievable, but
for
it's like
sure.
who's
Like
willing to sit there for 6 weeks, not
yeah,
play, and
yeah.
then
And
earn their right to play. Like you know what I mean?
it's humbling experience and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
challenging. It's mentally challenging. Um, so there, I think there is a lot of dudes out there that could potentially be on an NBA roster, and Mike's definitely talent wise easily could be on an NBA roster. But I mean, in his choice, he'd rather be overseas and be the man and get to play his game. So, but to playing him in a pro-am game because he's from Portland was a fun experience because it definitely brought the energy out in Portland. People came out to watch. So, and you know me, like when I get to get a challenge, I
get to
take
going.
let's take full advantage of it.
Yeah, 90 points in 40 minutes. That's crazy. That's some
Now,
MVP.
we actually did NBA level, so it was 48. That's the reason, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
90,
I played all 48 too. So
yeah,
at 48 minutes stop clock, like that's a lot of time.
that is a lot of time for your thirsty ass.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
So we haven't talked about Jaylen Brown. Obviously, he had a big year, unbelievable year. Um, Finals MVP, helped you guys get to banner 18, but he's left off Team USA. How'd you feel about that? And did you feel any type of way of him voicing his opinion? I know certain people are like, it's undercutting his teammate, but I was kind of like, hey man, let him speak his piece.
Yeah, I think let him speak. I don't think Derek felt any type of way at all. I think we're all brothers in the day. So I kind of when I saw it, with just not even having, I feel like the consideration with putting him on was confusing to me just because I think Jalen is a top level player like that. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
fits everything that they need. He can defend. He can play any role, and I think Jalen would accept that. I think people sometimes have this version of him that he's like this difficult teammate
yeah.
or difficult dude, which is like not the case at all. I love Jalen to death, and I got so much respect for him and the type of person he is. So I feel like sometimes the media and the outside people don't know that about him.
Yeah. And where do you think in regards to placing him amongst some of the top players in the NBA? I feel like he always gets like that tier of like
Yeah,
outside the top 25, but like every time he shows up to a game or to the big events or even like his accolades, it's like, yo, this is a top 15
yeah. I mean,
consideration type.
that shouldn't be any a question no longer. You know what I mean? He just won uh, Eastern Conference MVP and Finals MVP. Like,
Yeah,
and
it is,
it
bro.
went to him and JT were the two leaders. Like, we never talk about one being 1A, 1B. Like, those are our two best players, and they lead us. And he's part of the best in the world, as is JT.
Yeah. Have you been watching the women's basketball? I know you have a relationship with Sabrina Ionescu. You
Yeah,
guys are
I
both
see like their highlights and stuff. Like, I check in, seeing if they're winning and stuff like that. But I always watch, like, see Sabrina's success just because she's an unbelievable player, and I've seen it up close in college, and I got a lot of respect for her, and I rock her shoes sometimes, so they're fire.
Yo, that's kind of crazy if you think about it.
It
You
is
you're going to the same gym as somebody at 18 years old, and who would have known you'd be rocking her shoes for the Boston Celtics, right?
for sure. I
Sometimes,
mean, they're fire though. They're
yeah,
nice
they are
shoes,
though.
so uh, I feel like it's cool to just show respect and acknowledge all her successes.
Yeah, for sure. So what you got on tap for the rest of the summer? What can we expect? What are you looking to do for this upcoming season? Any expectations? Any other leaps and bounds you want to take? What next level are you trying to climb?
Um, obviously I'm already working this summer. I know you know what I'm about, so I'm trying to make a jump. I think for me, I've always been a person that's never been like a goal setter of like trying to win these awards or anything like that because that's out of my control. But for me, if I can make a jump in certain areas offensively and becoming even more efficient in you know, different parts of the game. I mean, my coaches have talked about it, being able to shoot off the dribble at a higher clip and like step backs and stuff. I noticed that's kind of what separates a lot of the good guards is like their
Yeah,
ability to shoot off the dribble. And I'm already really good, I feel like, off the catch and stuff like that. So that's an area I've worked on. And, defensively, just, I don't know, figuring out a way to even make more of an impact as far as like kind of being more of a pest, even though I am on ball, but like learning how to like take charges and those little at a higher rate. So
yeah.
some of that stuff goes down to like watching film, and I also got two dudes who do it in their own right, Drew
At a
and
high level. So
yeah,
like no matter what, like even if you were
yeah,
doing it good,
yeah.
they do it great. So sometimes your development's
But
gonna look like
it's
like it's
for
further
me
than what it
that's
is.
standard. So
Yeah,
that's the standard I'm trying to get to. So that's what that's two things I got on my list that I want to like improve this year.
that's big time. And then you're a hell of a shooter, man. You think we'll ever see you in a 3-point contest? You think you ever can be able to
I
step
would,
up,
I
knock that
would,
out?
yeah, I would for sure. I've never got invited or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, but if I do, I'll put myself up there with the best.
Okay. No, I believe that too, man. I definitely believe that. Um, once again, thanks for pulling up, man, and chopping up with us. Obviously, I'm always grateful for your time, and I'm super hype about how you've been killing it. How you've been winning, and clearly at this next level, I believe you're going to continue. Your star's going to continue to rise with the Celtics. So I'm looking forward to it.
I
And
appreciate
once
it.
again, thanks for the wedding invite, man. I don't take
Definitely,
that for
man.
granted either. I'll see you in like 72 hours.
For sure, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Well, shit, stay out that sun and use some SPF 5000. Your
I
little
know
ass
you see the
ready.
cut on my face.
What would you do? Fight or run into somebody?
Because I just played a IT's thing this weekend. This evening,
Oh, bro, you were supposed to hit that shot versus Clay, bro.
I think
I can't believe it didn't hit the rim.
like what I did. I crossed it and I got too cute. I sat there
Yeah,
instead of like normally you shoot it right away. I
right.
sat there and I like kind of was like it was humble. It's like a karma, like
Yeah, for
after,
sure, but
yeah.
yeah,
I
but
shot
you were
it. I'm
good
like,
enough to
oh, that's
shoot and
cash.
do that.
And I look and it's way over. I'm like, oh hell.
I couldn't believe
I
that.
ruined the clip.
Yeah, it ruined the whole clip, but you still had a clip. I mean, I seen it, and I'm in Chicago. I was like, oh, Peyton's in Seattle? Okay. How
Yeah.
was that weekend with Isaiah? It was smooth?
Fun event. I love it. I'm probably gonna go back every year and playing it because it's competitive. A bunch of pros playing it, like Jaden McDaniels,
Yeah.
a kid named Marjon. They had their own team. IT's team was Paulo, Clay, him, Malachi Flynn. I had a
That's hard.
team, so like it's a good bump, and the energy in Seattle is
Very good. And I
very
just
good.
feel like that Pacific Northwest for you personally. We all like claim our areas and territories, and it's like, different levels. And I think you're in that, the next tier of like the next generation of like PNW. So definitely,
Sure.
for the marketing purposes, only we definitely need the white boy there.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks to Peyton for stopping by, and thanks again for checking out another episode of Point Forward. Your support means a lot. We hope you enjoy the rest of the Olympics.